Okay, so here's my motivation to actually read my subscription to The Economist and Science, one of which I understand just a wee bit better than the other. I'll be honest. Now, I'm going to be running at the same time. So, speaking of which, there's a study by the NIH, that's the National Institutes of Health. Now, the headline for those people who hate the president and is that it's an initiative from President Obama in the latest budget, but he's not the one who came up with the idea. It's Francis Collins, who runs the NIH. So if you're one of those people who goes into some sort of hysterical shock the moment you hear the O word, it's in the budget. It's probably going to be passed. It'll probably be billions of dollars, or at least over $1 billion. And probably take a decade really before we see the results, but the emphasis is on individual tailored health care. So for example, something that was not mentioned in the study or in the article was a report I saw that aspirin's admitting that you don't necessarily get the benefits that are associated with doctor's advice, like an aspirin a day kind of thing, unless your genetics fit a certain profile. But how many people actually have their genetics, have actually done genetics testing, right? So, never mind the whole smartwatch idea and then electronic medical records. The idea is that if you combine those three things, let's say, with real-time data, I don't have a Fitbit or whatever on, but let's say I did, recording me riding around this park infested with a little bit of duck feces, to be honest. And then I'm running, so it's doing something for my heart, and the smartwatch uploads that data. So you take that personalized aggregation of data about Patrick, medical files. So hypothetically, if I change doctors and move with electronic medical records, you should just be able to just transfer all that over. It sounds simple, but it's not really happening like it should. And then the genetics testing too, where the doctor knows that when he or she prescribes medicine A or X, that my genotype is a good candidate for that, a good fit. Now, there's also the whole HIPAA thing, privacy in medicine, but this is where the trend line is at. Now, speaking of smartwatches, an article I read in the, I'm gonna lie down right now. I'm lifting my legs. Okay, so the article in The Economist was titled, Watch What You Say, right? So we have this, Cortana for Windows users like me, or Siri, artificial intelligence wannabe, I guess, on iPhone. It's a wannabe on Cortana with Microsoft too. But where you tell it your instructions, right? And then if you're in a noisy room with lots of ambient noise, there's lots of air that can cut in, different accents are harder for the computer to understand, etc., right? So the pop culture, so to speak, even though this movie's a little bit dated, pop culture reference that I'm running again, that the Economist article used was the movie 2001 Space Odyssey. To my thinking, not one of the best movies, a little bit overhyped. But in the movie, Hal can basically read lips, and that's how he knows that the bad human wants to destroy Hal. Okay, so I stopped running. So the idea is the camera records your lips moving, and then thus is able to account for what you're saying. And this researcher, some university, I think in Dubai, is in the Middle East, said that instead of just going for movements that the lips make, where there's an alphabet in essence on different motions of your upper and bottom lip, but that's not as precise as you might think. So you include a few more variables to create a more concise alphabet for the computer, so it's actual like teeth and your tongue showing, etc. So you have, I want to say, 5 different variables. Top teeth, bottom teeth, tongue, bottom lip, top lip, upper lip, bottom lip, whatever you want to say. So those key variables are included, and you look at the camera as you're giving it its instructions, and the computer will be able to better decipher what you're telling it to do or look up or whatever your instructions are, even if you're in an ambient room. So I'm sure that may not necessarily be on the mass market right away, but it's kind of cool. Now, I'm going to try doing push-ups. If I can remember something else I read in either The Economist or the Science, birds, right? Turns out that aggression from birds towards other birds has an effect on the hormones of the female bird, and then she hatches male birds younger, and they're more dominant, and they collect more territory, and that has an effect on the environment. Okay, we're done.